I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Ooh, yeah. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Ooh, yeah. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. I'm a businessman, yes, I'm an entrepreneur. Ooh, yeah. Crystal Mitchell, do you have my business plan? Just review the pages of my marketing.
And good afternoon and welcome to the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. I am Crystal and Gilbert is not in the studio today. He will be back next week, so we definitely miss him, but he's doing what he does and we'll do what we do. So thank you for joining us. It's Friday. What is it? September 8th. It has just moved by so quickly. We are now in the fall season, autumn season, and we're going to take a look at some things on what we need to do in order to get our businesses ready to roll out the rest of the year. But I would like to introduce and welcome my guest co-host today, my Bella sister, Miss Alisha Madison. I'm so pleased that she's always available when I need her, and I am so happy that she's here today. So we're going to have a good time.
We are. We're going to have a fabulous time, Crystal. I am happy to be here.
Well, I am happy to have you here. And it's a good time because Alisha and I, we are ready for our autumn. We're getting ready for our second annual Bella Network Conference.
Yeah, our Women's Leadership Conference.
Yes, and it's all about the power of women.
All about the power of women, getting together, collaborating, partnering, finding out how we can really support and promote each other.
Right, and with this very turbulent time that we live in and work in and are operating in, I think the changes are going to take place with us women.
Oh, I definitely think they're taking place already. I think, we just have to find each other and make sure that we are intentional about it.
Right, exactly. And utilize each other's skill sets and resources and network so we can be bigger and better. And it's funny because, as women, we've always connected with our sisters. Growing up, we are best friends. We always had each other's back when we were growing up. We go to college. If we belong to any sororities or any groups, churches, we're always doing. I'm not quite sure why every now and then when we get to the business world, we have this disconnect.
Well, I think it's because a lot of us have been taught that there's a limited supply when it comes to success. That there's this unlimited supply of love and concern and caring, but there's a limit to how many people can get access to success. Like maybe there's only one opportunity for a job, or there's only one opportunity for someone to get a loan from that bank.
Right.
And so with that feeling of limit, then we want to hold tight to whatever steps or whatever we get because we don't want to not be that one person.
Right.
So it's that kind of thinking.
Which is interesting. And it seems to only be in the business world. Because when we're in our regular life, if we're parents, we're doing things in groups because we're doing it for the benefit of our children. It's like we have this thing about doing something just for us. That we can do it for everybody else. We rah for the men in our lives. We rah for our parents. But something happens when it becomes a one-on-one about me and my success.
Yeah, but I think it's just a kind of humanistic thing, because anyone who feels like they have a limited supply of something is going to hold tight to it.
Right.
And so I don't think it's like just us that has that issue, but we have a sense of that feeling that there's not enough. Whereas other cultures don't really have that same feeling in regards to success because they see so many people becoming successful. Whereas for us, we may only see a limited amount of
people. And so I'm looking forward to us working together and doing what we do because I know my friends that I've grown up with, we've always been there for each other. But I do know in the business world, I've always felt a little bit more, because I of my friends as I was growing up, I'm really the only real true entrepreneurial ones. Everybody else has kind of worked for everybody. So, I kind of have had to blaze my own trails.
Yeah.
And in that sense, there is always that competitiveness, or really not even competitiveness. I think it's almost sometimes a insecurity on the other person's part. So therefore, feeling a little bit intimidated about the fact that you're not falling in the norm.
Right.
This is not part of the norm.
Right. Yeah.
And that's going to be some of the issues. Well, so I'm excited about the Bella Network and the conference, and we were up late last night planning, and it's so much fun. Last year, this wonderful founder of the Bella Network, she did pretty much all of the planning herself. So how does it feel to be able to share that?
Oh my gosh. The load is lifted.
with the rest of us, right?
Yeah.
Yes, and we got your back. That's what
I know, and that's the whole thing. I have these women that just have my back.
So let's tell our audience, what is the conference for, the Women's Leadership Conference?
So what we're doing is, and let me just start with this, because a lot of things, people ask me, why is it called the Bella Network? And so, when I was thinking of a name for the organization, I started thinking of, when I'm thinking of a supportive woman, a woman who's always giving and sharing and advocating for others, what did we call her? And so, when I was younger, that was a beautiful person. That person who cooked for everybody. Well, that's a beautiful person. That person who made sure that so-and-so got a job. That was a beautiful person.
Right.
And so instead of calling it the Beautiful Network, I thought, well, what's a beautiful way of saying beauty?
Right.
Ciao, Bella. So, I can be a Bella woman. That just sounds kind of sexy, right?
Right,
yeah,
exactly.
So I thought, well, that resonated with me. Hopefully it would resonate with others. So it's about going back and being that beautiful woman that's supportive and advocating and empowering and encouraging and uplifting of other people. So the conference is about this. When you meet someone, it's hard for you to really understand who they are with just an hour conversation, or just meeting them every, once a month.
Right, exactly.
So they say that it takes about 3 days or so many contacts with a person in order to have that intimate, understanding of who they are as a person or as a professional.
Okay.
So 21 touch points. Within those 3 days, we're going to get about 36 touch points. So that's why it's 3 days, because you need that much time to really get to know each other. And I tell people that, you have an hour lunch with somebody and you get an hour conversation with them. If they're faking it, they can fake it for an hour. You can't fake it for 3 days in front of 100 other women that are going to be just as challenging, just as insightful. And it's like, so the real you shows up.
Right.
And we want the real you to show up because we want to support you and help you grow and help you scale. And so we need for the real you to show up so we know what you need and how we can help you.
And that's great, because last year that was one of the things that was so wonderful about the conference. None of us, you knew certain people, couple people, right? But really none of us, maybe one or two people we knew each other, but when we came out of it, we felt so connected after that 3 days, and that was fantastic. So I'm really looking forward to it. There's been so much going on in the world, just every day. Sometimes it's just a challenge to wake up in the morning and go, okay, should I watch the news or should I not watch the news today? Because wow, I don't even know what to deal with. So in addition to us having to deal with the political craziness with number 45, now we have God adding some extra elements and the weather is just insane.
Well, someone sent me an email that said, read Luke 21, verse 25 through, I think it was 25 through 26, which is about when all this havoc started happening with the weather. and it said that the sun would be covered and that the wind and the rain and all would cause us to have to rethink. I mean, that's not exactly how it says it, but this is my interpretation.
Okay.
Rethink how we interact with each other. And so, you have to think, is this God trying to tell us something? Well, we do need some more lessons.
We need some, and it's so interesting that it's coming through like the red states, right?
Yeah.
That have been the most destructive since the election.
Yeah.
Hurricane Harvey and Texas, and now we're coming through Florida, and just all the bad behavior of humanists.
Yeah.
And,
or that feeling that I don't need you, or that
exactly.
I don't have to respect you. And so now these whole communities are put in a position where they need whoever shows up.
Whoever shows up, whoever got the boat.
That person looks like.
In fact, there was one lady I saw last week in Texas. This guy came in on his scuba doo, his wave runner, rolled right up to her house, came in her house, put her on the back. She was white, he was black, and rode her away like the Lone Ranger.
And I'm sure she didn't say, no, I'm waiting for the white man to show up.
Right, because it ain't about that, right?
No,
it's about
that.
People and showing concern for the safety and the well-being of another person, another human being, because that's really what we are. You remove, and I like to say, you remove our outer coat, and we're all the same underneath.
Yeah.
We're bone, we're tissue, we're blood. And our blood is red.
Yeah.
And so in these situations, and the Lord wants to make sure, I think, that we get the message, because he's like, you know what? Harvey really wasn't enough. Let's terrify them on this other side. So we're going to take it straight up the coast and straight up the middle over here. Let's see if these people get my message.
Yeah. Well, I hope they get it, because I would hate for them to get any more lessons.
No, exactly. And we certainly don't want any on the state of California, on the West Coast. Yeah. We cool. We liberal people. Just leave us be.
We loving each other.
We love everybody.
Married to the people.
Right, exactly.
We're good, God.
Yeah, you don't have to show us anything over here. We're good. But it's been just some interesting stuff. Now, in that same concept, though, I saw something on Facebook. One of my good friends, George Frazier, actually sent me. It was a message that came on, and so there's a folklore that the hurricane, which is HERICANE, and is coming off the coast of Africa. So that scientifically is correct, right? So that route that the hurricane takes comes straight through the slave route that all the ships came through. And that these are all of the very enraged women, African women.
Ooh, know not to piss a woman off.
And that's exactly what George put down as his comment. Don't be messing with a scorned woman, man.
A scorned black woman.
So that's the folklore of the whole thing. So when you think about it, it's like, wow, Harvey, which is a male, but Harvey was a little pissed off. But now, Irma is like outraged. Yeah. She is like a black woman twirling her head, twirling on her neck. After she is at her breaking point. So that's the folklore of a hurricane. That's a little humor for the day. But our hearts do go out, and our prayers go out to those that are suffering tremendously, those innocent bodies that are suffering tremendously from what's going on here. And it was so funny because this morning we have a cousin on my brother-in-law's side, and he called, and he had gone to Florida, and they're from a little area down over near Orlando called Bartow, a little small place, probably like 3-4 cars, and that's the whole town, right? So he went down there, and then he called this morning. He's like, "Can y'all get me out of here?" Because everybody's evacuating. They'd already seen what happened with Harvey, so now Florida's like, "Let me get in a car, let me walk, however we need to get out of here." So my sister found him a flight. he was going to take the bus, but they couldn't make that work. So she found a Southwest flight for about $159. He had to get to Tampa. He said, well, how am I going to get to Tampa? She go, look, I'm paying for you to get here on a plane. Rest of that, you're going to have to figure that out.
Figure that out, yeah.
So if you catch a boat, whatever you need to do to get to Tampa from Bardo, that's what you need to do. So I am very thankful, even though the traffic here is insane. I am very thankful that we live in Los Angeles.
Yes, right now, yes.
Right now, yeah, for right now. But we're going to stay in love.
But Crystal, just to think about that a little, if we look at it from a business perspective, in trying times, you would hope that some businesses and professional people would be more supportive. And, I've heard that some companies are walking away from people that have been their customers because they want to save their inventory, save their business. So they're not sticking around to help and to work through it. So, we as people that leverage businesses need to take note about that.
To take note. I mean, even when you look at what transpired with Joel Osteen in his church.
The church.
I mean, closing the doors. And I was with one of my clients that's a pastor, and we were talking about that yesterday. In a time when you need some sort of spiritual a solace, and that should be your place to fall back on, especially those of us that were raised in religious or spiritual homes. But now your churches are behaving quite badly. And so what church should, first of all, closes their doors and don't open them? The Catholic Church is open 24/7, right? No matter what's going on. And two, then I don't even know how you fix your lips to lie so convincingly, but not really, because then you got to keep backing it up. You got to keep bat flipping, which means you got to keep covering up that line. And at the same time, you're preaching every Sunday about what you're about, but not really. And then I've heard some other big preachers, big time preachers, or same thing, the mega churches are really not standing up. But it says that in the book of the Bible, in the book of Revelations, the last days you will see a lot of false prophets.
Yep.
And so this is very interesting times. All I know is, and my philosophy in life has always been, and how I've patterned my business life, my personal life, was at whatever is my time, whenever God says it's time to come back to his home, I do not want to be stopped at the pearly gates explaining to Peter or Paul about those transgressions back there that I probably don't even remember. I don't want to do that. So I have lived my life with the prosperity, with the thought process that one day I'm going to be called and I want to be ready. So you can just go check. Okay, Krista, go ahead. I want to be like a, what do they call it when you're flying out on TSA, but you got the TSA clearance? I don't want to take my shoes off. I don't want to take my belt off. I don't want to take no jewelry off. I just want to walk right on through.
Yeah, exactly.
So that's how I live my life, because that's stopping. But you're absolutely right. And that's what we're going to talk about today is, when we're running a business, does businesses have seasons?
Yeah.
Because life has seasons,
exactly.
right?
Yes.
And there are 4 specific seasons: a winter, spring, fall, and summer. Winter, spring, and summer, and fall. So businesses have seasons, even from the smallest business to the largest business. There are times when you have turbulence, you have dormant periods in business, and it was funny because today I was talking to my girlfriend, and we were talking about change. She has a real problem with change, but the only thing, and this is a quote that I found: you can't change the circumstances, the seasons, or the wind, but you can change yourself. And you have to recognize seasons occur not only in nature but in life and business as well.
Well, you have to want seasons, because if it was always summer here, then we would always be in a drought situation. We may never have rain or water. I mean, so you want snow. You want the change. I like seeing the leaves change and autumn come, and it's a refreshing.
Right, exactly.
So even with change, I mean, if things were always to stay the same, I mean, what day do you decide, well, this is the day I want to always be the same? You know, because we could go back to the times where, especially as blacks, it wasn't a good day for us, but it was a good day for other people.
Right.
So is that the day we never want to see change, or
right.
would we want it changed?
Right, exactly.
So, you know, I think people just don't want to have to deal with something new. But yet they do want change. They want it to get better. They want to be happier. But you also have to realize that you can only get that if your environment or situation changes.
Right. And that, you know, even butterflies, you know, you go from whether you go from a caterpillar
they're ugly as a caterpillar.
Right, exactly.
And they change.
And look what their transformation is. Not an easy. It's a painful transformation. Yeah. So, you know, and as a coach and you're a trainer, you know, that's what we work with. You as that business person is really taking you and metamorphing and molding you into a successful business person.
Right. But if you even think about the caterpillar, so when they're a caterpillar, they're actually stronger. Their body frame is stronger.
Right.
And they become that beautiful butterfly, and now they're free to go wherever they want, and they can just, you know, take on the wind, but they're more fragile.
Right, exactly.
And so we also have to realize that just because we become more fragile as we change through something doesn't mean that it's for the worse.
No.
It could actually be more freeing.
More freeing and more liberating.
More liberating.
More liberating to what you're accepting. And I think, you know, that's one of the things I can see, or I felt when we were at the conference, was you're acquiring this support system that is giving you an opportunity to be freer.
Right.
Because you're not having to worry about everything yourself.
Right. But you remember, though, there were times when it was a little painful.
Yeah.
Because we had to come across some truths that we didn't like.
Yeah.
We had to come across some judgments that we didn't want to be accountable for.
Right, exactly.
But yet when we talked through them and made that a part of the discussion, it made us lighter.
Right, it did.
It brought us to a higher elevation. And so I think that's what people are afraid of. They're not really afraid of, you know, change. They're afraid of having to confront, you know, their truths, having to confront their bad choices, having to confront their situation.
Right.
So.
And I found sometimes I was telling, you know, when you think about it, you know, people make certain decisions based upon some knowledge that they acquired maybe 20, 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Oh my gosh.
And they're still making those decisions based upon that, which is really more painful than embracing the new truths of this world. But that happens a lot.
Yeah.
I'll hear someone saying, well, no, I can't do that. Because, and it happens a lot with us.
Yeah.
We operate from a paradigm that has come and gone, and the fears have really come and gone.
Well, so I have a theory on that, and you know, my theory some people may not like, but we like to sit in our stories. And sometimes we like to sit in our ancestors' stories. And so they hold us back. And so we're quick to say, oh, as a people, we're not good with math. Or, you know, we don't like to do this. Or instead of saying, you know what, there is no like or dislike. It comes a choice. Do I have to in order to get something better? Well, then, yes, I do. So whatever you declare you don't like or you don't want or you don't, is usually something that you're afraid of.
Really, right. Exactly.
So it's more fear than it is not being good at it. Because like you said, we all have a brain. We all are capable of using our brain. And when we understand the rules, then we're capable of doing the task.
Right, exactly.
But what we do is we decide, oh, I can't do it. I'm afraid. I don't like it. It's even food. You know how you'll say, oh, I can't eat spinach because I don't like it.
Right.
Well, you can eat it. You just don't want to. It's an active choice.
That's
and it's
different.
The same thing with, you know, with success or saying I can do something. I can become an engineer. Well, oh no, I'm afraid of it is probably the better word.
Right, exactly. And fearful really of stepping outside of your comfort zone. And that's the biggest thing about being an entrepreneur is you're always in an uncomfortable place.
Yes.
Because unlike a person that's working at a job, you know that at the end of the month or every 10 days or every 15 days, there's a paycheck. Right. That is going to come through. Even when the company is in trouble, you know that, okay, there better be a paycheck coming through, right? So you don't get those fears maybe until the first time they missed your paycheck. But those of us that are in the entrepreneurial world, man, we don't know from one week to another where that money's coming from. We're working hard, and for us, it's like you have to sow your harvest. You have to plant your harvest. So that could take a little bit of a period of time, which is kind of like our spring, right? We're planting our seeds to harvest later in the fall, or it could be a year later or 2 years later. If we're blessed, then maybe a windfall will just drop in our lap that will bridge us over until we get to that. But it's not consistent. It's never consistent.
But you know, Crystal, the one thing which to me is the importance of organizations like the Bella Network, where you have a support system, is that your fear is diminished if you feel as though you have a group of people that you can rely upon to ask questions,
right?
That you can rely upon to get clarity on something,
right?
And so, you know, when you have a person who says, you know what, I don't know the answer now, but I can go find out.
Yeah.
They don't have fear. They walk fearlessly.
Yes.
And so as entrepreneurs, as corporate professionals, people that have a tendency to be skeptical about whether or not they can accomplish something is because they don't have that sense of, I can go find out.
Right, exactly.
I can find out quickly because I can ask someone.
Right.
And so then the fear is, well, I'll try to figure it out on my own, but I'm still not sure that I'm heading down the right path. I'm doing it correctly.
Exactly.
And then with businesses, a lot of times the fear is, well, who's going to be out there to support me as a customer? So some people know that no matter what, they're going to have a customer base because of their tribe. Mm-hmm. Right?
Yeah, exactly.
And their tribe is going to say, hey, I'm sorry, but I don't care what services you have. I'm going over to my sister girl.
Right, exactly. And that's your support system right
there. That's your support system. So when you don't have that as an entrepreneur or career person, then again, you're sitting in your fear.
Yeah, right,
because
exactly.
You don't know that you have somebody behind you that's going to make sure that you're held up and that you have the right infrastructure, or that you have a customer and they're not going to go get it from across the street, because no matter what price you have to sell it with, they're there for you.
Right, exactly.
And so that is the fear, because you know there's some people who don't have that sense of, I'm going to go to, you know, a certain store and be supportive of that person versus Macy's, who really doesn't need your money.
Right, exactly. But I'm going to support my sister or my brother because, you know, I'm trying to help them, you know, their families, and for them to grow, because then they in turn can support you. And that's why I always look at it. If I'm supportive of other people, then they're going to be supportive of me. It's just the the reciprocity and karma you feel, and especially if you build a relationship, which is what business is all about. And you're in the corporate world, and so we don't always see those human touches in big corporations, because they operate on a different scale than we do. Their interaction is with their employees.
Right.
Versus the actual person. I mean, because you work for a big for Northrop, so you don't really see the actual interactions with their customers.
Right.
It's really more the people in their building and the social enterprises that they do.
But you know, I'm going to tell you this, Crystal. To me, in corporate America, your relationships with people is more important than as an entrepreneur.
Yeah, I would imagine,
because in corporate America, people, they can make a conscious choice on whether or not you have a job today, or a promotion,
right,
or that you are seen as valuable, and in a pin stroke.
Yeah.
You know, versus with a business, you can say, oh, well, this customer doesn't appreciate me. I will go to the other side of the street.
Right. So they're easily wooed away.
Yes.
Then if you, because with it as an entrepreneur, you do have a leverage where you can go and
find customers that embrace you.
Right, and then have communication on a more intimate level
Yes.
that can really bring them back.
But in corporate America, if you have that one manager that just has no desire to work with females, but you've been put in their silo,
yeah, that's it.
you're in a
done.
bad place.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. So with the conference, and this kind of falls, there's synergy there, because what are some of the topics that we're going to talk about at the conference?
So we're going to start. So the theme of the conference is creating connections, building bridges. And our bridges are about a collaboration and partnership. And so I believe that it's all about relationships, relationship currency. So our first day, Friday, is going to be about building that currency, understanding how to connect, and then some of the things that we do that causes us to not connect. So we're going to talk about what a Bella woman is. What does it take to be a beautiful woman? What do beautiful women do? What is it about support and advocacy? And so we're going to talk about that and actually show them, some Bella women that are doing it on a large scale. And then we're going to talk about, facial expressions in your body language and how that turns people on and off, and how you're the person in control of that. And we know that you can't control, and you started off by saying that you can't control what's going on in the world, but you can control your reactions, how you respond, how people see you.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk through that. We're going to have conversations about women, whether or not, as a woman, are we enough, or do we need something else to help define us as women? Oh my gosh, we're going to go over financial stuff. We're going to talk about taxes, especially as a business person, how you do your taxes, how that impacts being able to collaborate and partner. Wow, we're going to get through a lot.
We are in 3 days. That's why we need 3 days.
A few topics, but we have about 15 topics
but
that we're going to touch on.
Those are the things that's important, though, because I coach and I speak with both from my profession, and my business, as well as from Recycle Black Dollars. And I think when we embrace all the components of running successful businesses, then we can be more of an impact for our own people. Because I think we've been spending so much time, what can others do to help us versus us helping ourselves.
Yes.
And we're so powerful, and we don't know how powerful we really, really are.
Yeah.
I don't think we understand what we have and where we've come from, and how do we use that to really make a better place for in our communities, for our children.
Right. Well, so and you know this, but the Bella Network does things differently. So we don't do the typical speakers and panel. We do interactive workshops where you're actually taking what's going on currently in your environment, your business, or your career, and you're applying it immediately with professional coaches, consultants, business people, trainers in the room helping you work through your situation. And then you have the opportunity to not only get that influence and impact from the person that's leading the session, but from the high profile people in the room.
Right.
And so we believe that the mic belongs to whoever at that instant has the right concept, idea, discussion. And so we allow anybody to take the mic, and so we're a facilitating conference. We facilitate empowerment. We facilitate encouragement. But then also, we're tired of being inspired.
Right.
I know I'm tired. I can go watch Oprah on YouTube. I don't need to hear how Oprah made it 30, 40, 50 years ago.
Right, exactly.
I want to know who's helping me now, today, what you going to do about my situation.
And the average everyday person
needs that
how are their lives changing?
Yes,
because
exactly.
we see it. We don't know Oprah.
Right. You can't call her up.
You can't call her.
Question.
Right, exactly. But to know that someone within our circle is growing. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, let's talk about some of the people that actually saw and felt and actually created new experiences after they came back from the conference.
Last year's conference.
So we'll be back in a moment.
Wonderful.
Hello, meet Larry. Larry is a general contractor. Larry is very good at his craft, but Larry has a very tough time managing his paperwork because he is busy taking care of his clients' needs. Larry just cannot find his important business documents when needed. Larry is also being passed over for bid opportunities from prime contractors because he is perceived as not ready. He doesn't know where his business license, certifications, insurance, and other key corporate documents are located most of the time. Lucy owns an auto body and collision repair shop and has been using a business management and procurement assistance program called Small Biz Pro to keep her business organized, business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. Small Biz Pro is a 3-in-1 cloud-based business management, procurement, and market research assistance system designed to help businesses become business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. It also provides back-office operation solutions for small businesses. Lucy is able to stay ahead of her competitors because she uses Small Biz Pro to manage her business daily. Lucy just clicks on Small Biz Pro from her tablet, mobile phone, laptop, or any internet-accessible device for data retrieval, and she's got it. Lucy introduces Larry to Small Biz Pro, and now Larry is more organized and can now find all of his documents and new bid opportunities in seconds. Larry now saves $120 in labor costs for each missing or misplaced document. Just simply go to your web browser and log into smallbizpro.net and register today for a limited 30-day free trial offer. Services start as low as $1 per day. Let's put the competition out of business. Small Biz Pro. If you stay ready, you don't need to get ready. Register now at smallbizpro.net and begin saving money. Email info@smallbizpro.net or call 626-533-1186.
And we are back. Welcome back to the Business Zone with Crystal and Gilbert. I am Crystal, and my co-host here is
Alisha White Madison.
And we are welcoming Alisha. We've been having a fantastic conversation about women and women power and the Bella Women's Leadership Conference. And so before we went away to break, we were just getting ready to go into a conversation on what are some of the success stories that women have spoken to you about since the first conference.
Well, so we had one of our participants who had actually she had left corporate America and started her own business. And this is something that I see happening a lot. She jumped out there before she was ready.
Yeah, a lot of times that happens.
And lucky for her, she was able to go back.
Okay.
And so she actually was able to go back and secure a position that was, equivalent or probably actually better than what she had before. But one of the key things that she said that she learned at the conference is that she thought that it would be an easy transition, that becoming an entrepreneur wasn't all that difficult, and all the things that she had learned in corporate America was just going to easily translate. And that's not the case.
Wow.
They're different skill sets. And so now she's taking that time to build up her knowledge of being an entrepreneur, but in a situation where she has the income to come in, and she's not like in, paycheck to paycheck or any of those things.
Okay.
So she has that security. So she learned, some of the things that she needed, and she actually got connected with people that can help her with that transition the next time. So,
and it's funny because when men kind of leave when they're making that step, and this is what we as women need to learn. We actually need to observe our male counterparts in business, especially in corporate America. More so there probably than entrepreneurial places, but definitely corporate America. Because a lot of times they will take the relationships, they'll take the relationships that they've made within the corporate world and establish contracts from that.
yes.
Whereas we kind of jump out there, and it's like most things. They think that the people will just come because you put your shingle up.
Right. Well, so her philosophy was that she knew how to do the work. But what you're talking about is that men find the relationships, and then whether they know how to do the work or not, they find people to do the work.
Right.
And so men are able to focus on the vision of a company and actually grow the company and grow their customer base because they find or set themselves up where somebody else is doing the day-to-day work.
Right.
That's the collaboration and the partnership side of it.
Right.
Men there's A men, there's B men, there are men that are worker bees. And so an A-type man will find the worker bees, create a relationship with them, and then he'll lead them to the promised land of becoming an entrepreneur.
Right, exactly.
And they're happy because now they're a part of starting some company.
Right.
But as women, we focus on the work. We focus on, I know how to do the work. Now I'm going to start a business.
Exactly.
Versus understanding I have the right relationships.
Right, exactly.
I have the right time for the vision to start a company, and I have the worker bees.
Right.
To run the day-to-day tasks.
Exactly.
That's where we as women go wrong.
See, so we kind of have, and I think that's part of what we're going to be relaying to our people, those that are coming to the conference, because one of the things that I did when I exited from corporate America, which was a very, very long time ago, but I established my contacts before I left.
Exactly. You built your relationship.
I built my relationship. So when I left, and then I even was able to turn around, and I have found this to be very valuable. I was able to turn around and go back in to where I was as a consultant. So now I still had whatever the comfort levels I had, and they knew what I was capable of. Interesting enough, they valued my information more so now as a consultant than they did when I was an employee, which I found absolutely amazing.
Yes.
Same exact information, same work, same everything, but as a consultant, maybe it's just the title consultant, you become more valuable, right? And then I was able to pick up other clients based upon that I had one big client, and then I was able to pick up others based upon that relationship. And I think that's really the secret for that, especially in the first 2 or 3 years of business in a consulting situation.
Yeah. But you know what is critical, too, with relationships is you can't just create a relationship and then walk away from it and think you can go back when you need it. You have to maintain it and massage it. And it's that seed that you got to keep watering.
Right.
And so that's one of the things that I see that you do phenomenal. I mean, Crystal is the relationship queen. Because me, I got 6 jobs. Sometimes I don't have time for this for one, and I don't have time for that one. And so I have little things that I'll do. Like I'm known for my Christmas cards. My husband and I send out the Christmas cards, and people will be like, "Where's mine?"
Right.
And so that's how I water. I do things that I can do real quick. But, what I see you doing and what I see men doing is they're consistently calling and sending out or doing something to keep the connection going.
Right.
So when they have to rely on that relationship, it's not, I haven't talked to you in 50 years.
Yeah, right,
what you need now? I don't got time for you.
Right. Who are you?
Yeah, who are you? And then we're like, well, my tribe won't support me. No, you haven't been there for your tribe.
You haven't nurtured, you haven't watered your tribe. And it's probably because I started my business so early, before everybody that I knew were in this entrepreneurial space. So it was really just me. So I had to nurture and I had to build relationships to get people to make sure they were always around. And then, when we talk about collaborations, my business has always been about partnership and collaboration, because one, I like to have the support of people. It's kind of, I'm not one to be the Lone Ranger. I'm usually, let's see, what's the name of it? I'm usually out here by myself anyway, and I'm a trailblazer, but I kind of like to bring people along with me to share. I like to share the wealth, and I like to share the joy and the excitement. And that's from my personal life to my even in my business life. It's always been the same. So if I go camping and I like it and I enjoy it, it's like, ooh, what about all my other friends? Let me bring them too. Because if I'm having fun, it's kind of hard when you go back to tell them you've had a great time, and then they're like, no, why don't you just come with me and see what the experience is like for yourself. Right. And then I got them. You're here with me for life. So that's kind of, and I don't even know where I learned. Probably George Fraser, because really that's where all of this, the ability to establish relationships and friendships and business relationships came from Fraser.
He has built an empire around relationships.
He really has. And his book, Clickable, that's what it was about, is not just meet the people, but how do you meet the people, but at the same time keep it moving forward. And keep people coming back and you being able to go back to them. And that's very, very important. And I hope, I've already seen the results of that from the first conference, and I hope we continue to do that as we continue on with the endeavor, is to build that network.
Well, one of the things that we were talking about last night is you could really tell the difference between women that came and stayed for the whole 3 days. Yeah. Because the conference starts at 7 in the morning, 7, and we don't end until almost 11. 10:30, 11, we start to unwind. Right. And so people say, oh, that's a long day. But we have a lot of fun. There's a lot of stuff going on. But the people that stayed for all 3 days, that participated in all the different events, when you look at how they collaborate and partner and leverage each other, it's way different from the people that only came for a few hours or a day, and how they interject with us as a tribe. Yeah, exactly. It's and I felt that because I didn't stay at the hotel, because again, not knowing what the full vision was, but I just had such a great time in the time being there with the people, with the ladies that were there, and just amazing. I was just amazed at the caliber of women. That was. I have some top level friends. You certainly do, my friend. I got some badass friends. You certainly do. But now see how much has come from me sharing my friends. Right, They've all gained from it. Everyone who came gained from it, and I've gained from it. So, I could have kept them all to myself. You could have, but I tell you, you do have some amazing friends. Yeah. You very rarely, and last week we had Jovita Jenkins was on the show, and I was saying very rarely do you go to an event and you're meeting chemists and engineers. That's usually in an entrepreneurial space. We don't usually cross over like that. Right. Even in our engagement, even if we're at church, we don't know what the other person. We stay in our silos, right? But we don't know what that person does for a living. Yeah. So one of the things that I learned, because I have a tendency to ask people, "Oh, what do you do?" And people are like, "Oh, why do you want to know what I do?" I'm like, because I need to know how I can help you. How can I help you? How can I connect you? How can I, support you if I don't know who you are and what you do? And that's a part of that, I can surely look and see that you're beautiful. You have voluptuous hair. You have a great spirit. but I want to support you. And to me, the best way of supporting somebody is to give them a sense of stability with their economics.
Right, exactly.
Right? To empower them to feel freeing of that that month-to-month, week-to-week paycheck.
Right, exactly.
That's what I know when I see people thriving and happy, is when they don't have that burden that they're carrying, or they're taking the whole load by themselves.
And actually, when you're building that network, even in your personal life, if you want to travel, you want those people to be just as successful and one to be free, right?
Yeah.
So that if you're saying, hey guys, let's go on a cruise to the Greek Isles. No, I got to go to work tomorrow morning. Oh, wow, okay. And then
I don't have any money.
No, I don't have any money. That's usually it. I don't have any money.
Or the man's holding me back.
Right,
like, which man?
Right,
him away from me.
Right, exactly. So this way, if we're helping them grow and build these supportive businesses, now when we want to go play, we got friends to go play with.
Yeah.
That's how I've always
And you don't have to pay for them to be there. That's the part I want.
Right. You don't have to pay for your friends
to pay for you to come.
Right,
we can
exactly.
have a fun time.
Right. Yeah. So that's what's always been important to me is when I want to go play, I want my friends to go play too.
Yes.
And I don't want to, when you're a kid, knock, knock. Can you come out to play? No, my mom says I gotta go. I got homework. I got housework.
I haven't done my homework yet. It's like, why didn't you do that before you left school or when you first came home? Yeah, it's like, but then again, that's choices. So we need to start making thriving choices.
Exactly.
We need to understand how to use our time appropriately so that we can all succeed.
Exactly. And that is the exact feel that I received. So that was my experience, like my testimony. If I'm going to do a testimony for being at the conference last year, was that I came away with all these amazing women that you will put up a post, hey, you guys want to come join me here, and or we need to support so and so over there. I think that for me is like incredible. And again, being in the business that I'm in as a coach, I'm usually the one giving.
Yeah.
And very rarely is there not too many nuggets that I can receive, because I'm always in the teaching mode. And even if they do have something that they can share with me, they don't, because they figure, well, how can I give her anything? She's giving me everything, right? So I never have been able to, in a long time, go somewhere where I get fulfilled as well, that I'm learning something from the people in the room. And I know you guys think that I got like the whole social media thing down, right? But the other day you shared something with me about the hashtags. I didn't know anything about that, or how to really make them work. Last night Dawn Schroeder, she taught us something about using Instagram. So it's learning to share and receive at the same time. Because that's an issue women have sometimes, is receiving.
So I have to tell your audience, we have this thing about Crystal at the conference. If you're going to be somewhere with Crystal, you have to walk around with a notebook and a pen, because you don't know when she was going to drop some nugget, right? So when she says that she's always giving information, she's always sharing, yes, that was us for Crystal. And so when she says, all of a sudden I'm in an environment where I'm taking notes, it was, because we had women with so much knowledge and information. But the key that you just hit on was that in the beginning, we broke down those barriers so that everybody felt as though whatever I say is going to be embraced. Whether somebody else knows something a little more or a little less, nobody's going to say, oh, we don't need that from you, or who are you to tell us that, or, everybody had knowledge that everybody was writing down and taking notes and wanting to share. And that's important, because that's why we all felt comfortable sharing and enlightening each other.
And so we learned so much. And I've also, in the year, moving forward in that year, I've also seen some changes. Yael, for example, it was so funny. she was doing all that she does, the decoration, and absolutely beautiful, but really
wanted to stay behind the scenes.
Yeah, really behind.
Talk.
No, didn't want to go.
Even though she raised a general manager for a major organization that we can't talk about. We can't speak about.
But when you brought that up when her daughter actually spoke, and you were like, "What else did we expect?" Because her mother, and then you said that she had the 4 patents. I went.
Yeah, Yael has patents. A lot of the stuff that's still going on in that industry are using her patents.
Right.
So and she's a badass sister she wants to sit quietly back and be in the background.
Right.
Yeah.
But lately she's been looking awful sexy when she comes out with us.
She said this year, she says, Alisha, I want to be at the forefront this year. I don't have time to do the decorations.
She all of a sudden
she came out of her shell.
She came out, and that's what I'm saying. There's so many women that actually there's a difference in some of the ones that were more behind the scenes. Yeah. And I know Javita had said last week, being an engineer, she's always been behind this, been with men.
Right.
And so she really didn't have relationships with women. But now that she's recovering from her heart surgery, she says she's just absolutely amazed at the support that she received, and that's all brand new to her.
Yeah.
And she is embracing that. Yeah. And those are some of the changes or some of the experiences that we had from coming from a conference of 3 days with women that were open and willing to share and be themselves with other women.
We were very authentic.
We were very authentic.
The purple hair came out.
So our guest has our surprise guest, and I am so excited. She has, and you know more about the family than I do because I met them
I'm
her
trying
sisters.
to get them to adopt me.
I know. I mean, these are some talented sisters.
That's why they're not adopting me, because I don't have any talent. Don't ask me to sing.
We're going to take a few moments, another quick break, and then we're going to bring our guests because you guys are going to be really surprised. So we'll be back in a moment.
Hello, meet Larry. Larry is a general contractor. Larry is very good at his craft, but Larry has a very tough time managing his paperwork because he is busy taking care of his clients' needs. Larry just cannot find his important business documents when needed. Larry is also being passed over for bid opportunities from prime contractors because he is perceived as not ready. He doesn't know where his business license, certifications, insurance, and other key corporate documents are located most of the time. Lucy owns an auto body and collision repair shop and has been using a business management and procurement assistance program called Small Biz Pro to keep her business organized, business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. Small Biz Pro is a 3-in-1 cloud-based business management, procurement, and market research assistance system designed to help businesses become business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. It also provides back-office operation solutions for small businesses. Lucy is able to stay ahead of her competitors because she uses Small Biz Pro to manage her business daily. Lucy just clicks on Small Biz Pro from her tablet, mobile phone, laptop, or any internet-accessible device for data retrieval, and she's got it. Lucy introduces Larry to Small Biz Pro, and now Larry is more organized and can now find all of his documents and new bid opportunities in seconds. Larry now saves $120 in labor costs for each missing or misplaced document. Just simply go to your web browser and log into smallbizpro.net and register today for a limited 30-day free trial offer. Services start as low as $1 per day. Let's put the competition out of business. Small Biz Pro. If you stay ready, you don't need to get ready. Register now at smallbizpro.net and begin saving money. Email info@smallbizpro.net or call 626-533-1186.
We are back with the Business Zone, and I am so excited with our surprise guest today. You know, it's just amazing. Women, boy, we rise up. My co-host Gilbert couldn't be here today because emergency came up, and I reached out, and God just delivers what you need when you need it. So I am going to let Alisha introduce the family that she wants to be adopted into. And let her introduce Sheree Brown.
Yes, I am so excited to be able to introduce Sheree. Sheree is an Emmy nominated, and an ASCAP award-winning artist. Okay?
Wow.
And so now the whole family, they got talent.
Yeah, they do.
But so she sings, she plays the guitar. I think she maybe even the piano. Is it piano? Where is it? A little, but I know she's a guitarist. So it's so funny. My husband had bought some of her CDs, and so I saw them and I said, "Oh, that's Sheree." And he's like, "You don't know that person." I'm like, "She was just at our house." And so, I mean, she is just utterly amazing. So you had 2 albums on Capitol Record.
Yes.
You've done a book with your sister. Your sister has illustrated all of the books, Celeste Brown.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
So, I mean, the whole family is just talented. And so she's written songs for Phyllis Hyman, some really highly successful Phyllis Hyman songs.
Patrice Rushen.
Why do I always want to say Phyllis Hyman?
Well, they were all in that same time.
Patrice Rushen. I think we just said her for some reason. But, gosh, so she's done some amazing things, and we're really lucky to have her here in the studio with us.
Well, welcome. I did meet your sister. Beautiful voice. Celeste has a beautiful voice. Kim is a beautiful spirit.
Yeah.
And just you guys. And now I'm meeting you. And I heard you today. I went on YouTube and I found you. And I listened to It's a Pleasure.
Yes.
Right? And dancing.
You'll be dancing all night.
Yeah, you'll be dancing all night. So you were doing the time with Minnie Riperton and
yes.
all that. Okay.
In fact, you know what? I have to share this. I didn't get a chance to meet Minnie before she passed away. She's an inspiration. I really...
Well, you actually sound
like
because
you can sound like her.
Quite a bit like her.
Thank you. Well, I take that as a compliment. But what happened when I was signed with Capitol Records as a solo artist, my first album, they got Dick Rudolph to produce my album.
Oh.
And he was married to Minnie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
so
wow.
I didn't get a chance to meet Minnie because she had passed on already, but I got a chance to be in their home.
Okay.
To meet Maya.
The daughter.
Her daughter Maya. She must have been about 7, and their son Mark.
Oh, okay.
And so that was very, very special.
Well, I am very pleased and excited to have you here. You have a beautiful voice.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
And I was talking to my girlfriend who was with me when we were in the car when I was listening to it, and she goes, "Wait a minute, I just heard this voice. Who is this person?" So a friend of hers, Greg Brown, he plays the drums, and she says, he was just talking about her. So I don't know if he played in one of your bands or anything, but she said about a month or so ago, they were just having a conversation about you. Yeah. So look at that, people talking about you.
That's right, okay. Because both of my albums are still doing very well in the UK. In fact, I've been going back and forth doing some concerts in the UK. But there's some additional independent stuff that I've done since my Capitol days.
Oh, okay. So tell us what you've been doing. And it kind of falls in because in the music business or the entertainment business, there's always seasons, aren't there?
You gotta change.
When you were talking about that, I was like, wow, am I supposed to be here today?
Yes.
And it's so funny because, one, I just talked to Kim last night, and we were talking, and I was trying to think, I don't have a guest, and then it kind of happened. Alicia, one of our friends said, "Alicia, you gonna be on the show tomorrow?" And thinking, well, if she wants to be. And then my co-host called me this morning and said he couldn't be here, but that was what I chose was seasons on autumn being that time to do a reality check on your business. I'm thinking, and then when you said yes, it's more like wow, because there are so many seasons in the entertainment business, and you're riding high and riding low and riding high again and switching from producer to composer to singer. So tell us about that. How do you adjust to that?
it's about reinventing yourself.
Okay.
Especially in this business, being a female and a black female.
Okay.
Because everything is so youth oriented.
Okay.
And you'll find people don't want to know what you've done. It's like, what are you doing now? And so I had to find something that I could do, find a way to reinvent myself so it didn't matter how old I was.
Oh.
And then people would be more open to hearing what the project is and what the music was about.
Okay.
Because so I co-wrote this book, Messages from the Heart.
Okay.
Is it okay to?
Oh, yes. Uh-huh.
It took about 6 years to put it together, and it's a story of 8 women and the challenges they were able to overcome through faith and hope. And I had a life-threatening illness in 2007, and that's what inspired the book.
Okay.
So what I did is I wrote a song and dedicated it to each woman in their story.
Oh, my gosh.
And I introduced each woman and tell how we came to be a part, how it came about that I introduced them invited them to be a part of this. And then my sister Celeste Brown did all the artwork, dedicated art piece to each woman's story. And then what I did is I recorded the song and put it on a CD, so the CD comes with the book.
Oh, fantastic. So where can we find this book?
You can actually get it. You can go to my website and order it at www.realsheree.com. That's Real Sheree Brown.
Real Sheree Brown. Real Sheree Brown. Okay, with 1 R.
Right.
So you guys got that. You can find her book, Messages from the Heart, and it's www.realsheree.com.
Right.
Yes.
Spelled SHEREE.
1 R, 2 E's. Wow, I'm going to order the book tonight. And so you get the CD along with that you wrote for each one of the stories.
Yes. And so Patrice Rushen and I co-wrote one of the songs. She's performing on it. My daughter's performing on it. 2 of my nieces and a nephew. We have a really talented family.
Oh, my goodness. I am just so impressed.
Thank you. And so anyway, this became a big passion of mine because it's a way to uplift. So the stories are challenging, but there's an uplift that each woman shares, and then that I share. Some of it is semi-autobiographical because I talk about some of the challenges that I went through, especially in this music industry.
Okay.
And so it's a blessing. So one of the first main events that we're doing that was inspired by this book is a production called We Tell Our Stories. It's going to be on September the 16th, 6:30 to 8 at the Barnes-Dahl Gallery Theater. It's located at 4800 Hollywood Boulevard in Los Angeles. And what it is, it's a combination of music, art, dance, and theater to convey how powerful music, art, and telling of one's story, and how it can, the power that it has in healing.
Oh, wow.
And so what happens, I have a series. So there are a few stories from this book. There's a few stories for some upcoming books that are all a part of the series. And then there's music and dance. And it's a family affair because my daughter, Maya Nicole, is a professional dancer. So she's going to be dancing and singing and performing.
Okay.
She's going to be doing a monologue also. And my son, his name is Rebels. He has a company called 4 Rings.
Okay.
And then my son-in-law has a company called E. Jordan Hill. He does graphics and websites. They're going to be associate producers with me.
Oh, fantastic.
They are.
So this is, so what is the cost of the tickets?
The tickets are $60.
Okay.
Tax deductible. It's a fundraiser for an organization called Children and Families, Inc. And Children and Families, Inc. is an organization founded by Dr. LaFawn Gordon. And what they do is they provide mental health care services for children 0 to 5.
There's mental health. How do we know that at 0?
Isn't that something? It exists.
It exists?
And then, you think about children that may have been born and their mother used drugs.
Oh, okay.
And then there's things that happen as once children come into the world that can be traumatic with the family or outside of the family.
Yeah, they talk about if a baby doesn't get touched in the first year, then they create mental health problems from that lack of being touched or held.
Yeah, because it's nurturing. We're human spirits, and we need to feel loved.
Yes.
To be loved and to love ourselves, it has to come from whoever's teaching, which is our parents or our siblings and so forth. But yeah, that's very, very necessary, and we know that. We've met people that that they've came from a very austere environment, that very stern father, very stern mother, and it's just you're supposed to do X, Y, and Z. Actually, if we're going to be a tad bit sympathetic for number 45, that has been some just a tad bit from a human spirit.
Okay.
But that's some of the issues they're saying that has occurred with his mental illness, because he does have several mental illness diagnoses. But one of it was his mom. His mother was very, very stern, and so was his father. Father was very disapproving, and mom, which I think why he has a hard time with very strong women. And I think they said, in fact, one of the reporters was saying when he had that reaction to Merkel was because his mother was a very strong German woman. And so that's so that damage obviously took place very, very early on, where he has to feel like he has to be out in the front, and I'm the greatest, I'm this, I'm that, and that does happen with our children. That happens with people all the time.
Yes, in fact, Dr. Gordon does massage therapy for babies.
Oh,
That's included in her services, and she's a sister, and she's just really good people. So I thought it would be this is a good cause.
So bless her.
And my sister Celeste is going to be in it.
Oh, wonderful!
And
I
my
love
sister
Celeste.
Kim's daughter, Nia, has a spot in it. I mean, she has
so this is a
dialogue.
whole family. So I told you guys this was a very talented family.
Thank you.
Both the sisters and all the extensions to the sisters.
Yes, and I got to tell you this, because I think this is the first place that I'm announcing this. There's a song that Patrice Rush and I are writing, have written, called "I Choose Love," and I'm going to premiere it in the performance.
Oh, wonderful. Well, I'm going to see if I don't know what's happening on the 16th, but whatever it is, I'm going to see if I can clear it.
Saturday the 16th.
My sister and some friends. Actually, I have a really good friend that I work with, a youth organization called Pete Brown, and we teach kids how to play tennis, and also adults. We have our own little team that we're working on. We're going to play tournament tennis, but our primary purpose is to teach our children in the community how to play tennis, free. It's totally free for the kids. I think Kim's coming out and bringing. And one of the reasons she wants her is I'm going to start incorporating an entrepreneurial program within the tennis program, the educational part, where there's a program that we do called ACES, which is teaching the kids about the history of black tennis.
That's beautiful.
And all the individuals, Althea Gibson and Arthur Ashe, and that there were other players besides the Williams sisters, phenomenal that they are, but they were trailblazers before them. So we're teaching them that, and then I'm going to add the entrepreneurial component to it. So in the event that they love the sport, but how do you be in the sport if you can't play the sport? Well, you can sell merchandise. You can write books. You can do so many things that's entrepreneurial in the sport or that you love. And it's just like any other craft. And so that's what I'm going to do. So she's bringing your niece to participate in that. And then I'm trying to get her into hitting a few balls herself.
That's interesting, because one of my brothers, have you met Freddie yet?
I don't know. I can't remember.
He has 7 kids.
Whoa.
I don't think I met
They're
Freddie.
all adults. One's a dentist now. One is in dental school at USC. They're all professional in some way, shape, or form.
Okay.
But all 7 of his kids, except for his oldest daughter, didn't do it. But the other ones all played tennis
Oh.
and got full scholarships.
Yeah, see, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah,
we just took
that's
14
major.
children to the centennial, the 100-year celebration for the ATA, which is the American Tennis Association, the black part, because they didn't let us play with the USTA. And so this is their first time participating. So the ATA was actually created because they wouldn't let us play with the USTA. But once the black player won the ATA, you were considered the best black player in the world. And then they allowed you to play in the Open. And so we were then invited to participate in the Open. So when we went there, we actually had 2 kids that were offered scholarships. One from Morgan State, which is where we stayed. One offered Howard. There was a number of colleges there, but 2 of our girls were offered scholarships at Morgan State.
Isn't that nice?
That's fabulous.
So next year we're going to take them to Orlando because the ATA is building as we speak their own courts, 50 courts, and so we're going to be the inauguration of that. So that'll be the first time. So yeah, you guys got to come out then.
For sure.
Yeah, because the kids we got from the little babies from 3 years old up to 18. So we have the beginners, our grassroots, and then we have some rising stars that are starting to play tournament tennis, and then we have our elites that they play tournament, and that's who we took to Baltimore. So we were there for 10 days.
Nice.
It was phenomenal. And then the adults, which is us, we have our own coach, so we can create, because black tennis is kind of lost in the cities now. I'm sure when your brother was playing and all his kids, it was really, this place was like the haven for tennis. And so the courts that we play at Harvard Park, anybody, Arthur Ashe, they've all played down at Harvard Park. It was just like the hub for black tennis. And so I'm sure they've probably been over there for tournaments and so forth.
Probably. I don't know, but I would imagine so.
So are your parents musical as well? Where did this talent come from?
I don't know. My late dad was, he played the bugle when he was in the military.
Okay.
And I thought, and he had a nice voice because I would hear him singing at church. You're right, standing next to me. Oh, he's got a good voice there. And my mom drew exceptionally well. She could draw you.
Oh, okay.
And so I
that's
think
where
that
Celeste gets the artistic. Okay.
And so most of my family, we're either into singing or art, or I have a brother, Freddie, in fact, he was an architectural student.
Oh, so art.
And but I think that I have an aunt who sang, and I have a late aunt who was an actress. So I guess in the genes,
somewhere in your genes, your guys' DNA, you guys came from the musical tribe.
Yes. And then you know what? Because I'm the oldest of 8.
Okay.
And then my mom and dad, so there was 10 of us in the house, and so we were our own entertainment.
Yeah, I guess you guys.
We didn't have to go out, and we would have our little shows and, our dance steps. And
so you actually obviously went professional and became a star or award winning. So what was that process? What was that experience?
I loved it and still love it, but it was a point of me sticking to my guns and being persistent, because I got a lot of discouragement, not from my family, not from my parents, because they were very supportive.
Okay.
Recently, I was sharing with someone. You have your things the bucket list, right? And so I was saying, well, to be at the Hollywood Bowl, because I'm sitting there watching this show, and I said, you know what? I was already at the Hollywood Bowl performing, and what happened back in the late 70s, the 70s and the early 80s, there was something called the Battle of the Bands in LA.
Oh, I think I remember that.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was like American Idol.
Yeah, I remember that.
And it was a big thing, and it happened amongst high school kids.
Okay, yeah.
And I auditioned. I remember I was a senior in high school, and I was picked out of 20-something in my category. There were about 20 people that made it to each semifinal. So I was one of 3 picked to be in the finals at the Hollywood Bowl. And so
So as a high school student, you were at the
Hollywood Bowl. You were already there.
Yes. I just graduated from high school, right? And I'm sitting there with my guitar, 12-string guitar I was playing. And I remember I had this long dress, beautiful dress my mom sewed for me. I'm playing 2 of my original songs, and the orchestra is playing behind me.
Wow.
And I won.
Fantastic. And that was the beginning?
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, wow.
And it was really, the response I got from the audience was like, you could hear a pin drop. People even said something afterwards.
Wow.
And there was even a spot where I sang this. I went, together, together, together. I did this little riff, right? And then we were going, wow, you know.
And this is as a teenager.
Yeah, at the Hollywood Bowl. And then the late Sheree Wright. I don't know if you're familiar with Sheree.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. She and I were very good, close friends. She was like a big sister.
Okay.
She was there, you know, and the support in the audience. And so that's when I knew this is what I wanted to do. So what I started doing was working on not videos, but demos.
Okay. Because it was a different world then, right?
Right.
Yeah.
So over a period of 7 years, I probably worked on about 4 different demos. And the thing that was amazing is that a neighbor of mine who was older than me used to be one of the original horn players for Earth, Wind & Fire.
Oh, okay.
So he mentored me, and he became my music director, in fact. So when I worked on my demos, now, mind you, I'm a late teen, right?
Right.
I have the James Brown horn players playing on my demo, right? Some of the musicians that
because he brought all again about the relations and sharing, right?
And then what happened back then, it was so cliquish. Like, we all knew Patrice Rushen played on it. We had some of the strings. It was amazing. Some of the people that played on Michael Jackson and worked with Quincy Jones were on my session.
Well, and you're in your late teens?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. So you kind of made it at 17.
I'm like, well, I was 18. I must have been about 18, 19, 20.
Okay.
Because I think I was 21 when I got my deal.
Oh, wow.
22. And so what happened, it was just a process. Each demo I made better and better and better. My last demo was the one that got my record deal at Capitol. And I had everybody playing on my album.
Fantastic. What an incredible story. Your own story is incredible.
Yes.
Wow. But then, because I know the music industry obviously changed. Yeah. And then when the world of rap came through, you know, the really great music was no longer as acceptable. In fact, there's a show that is here at the studio. It's called Jazz Celebration. And one of the things she's doing, Linda Morgan, is honoring those musicians in the jazz world that didn't get their recognition during that time. So every Sunday afternoon she's here, and that's what her mission is, and her ministry actually is to. And so they have a big every 4th Sunday. They call it the Jazz Church. It's on the corner of Crenshaw and a block south of Manchester. It's a little church on the right-hand side, on the left-hand side, and they play jazz there all the time. And on Sunday evenings, they have so it's all these musicians that may not have gotten the recognition at that time. We'll have to introduce you to Linda and check out her show. She just started her show about a month here, and a couple weeks, I guess, she's been doing. But that's one of the things she was saying. And one of the things she was saying is that these musicians, people were taking their name and benefiting and profiting off of it because they hadn't protected their own names.
Yeah, yeah, that happens. One of the things too in reinventing myself, I love to work with younger people.
Oh, that's fantastic.
And the blessing for me is that my children are in that age.
Okay.
And they're friends, and they're both artistic and in that field. So when we do this show, there's a couple of upcoming young artists that are going to be a part of it, including my daughter.
Okay.
And that is so fulfilling for me.
Yeah.
Because I can bring something.
Yeah.
And I embrace what they bring.
Right.
Now, I'm not so much into like some of the objectionable language that you use, right? 'Cause let me tell you this. We got in 2015, Ty Dolla $ign For those of you who may know, he's a very popular rapper, very successful rapper, and writer, producer, and he can sing too and play all these instruments. Anyway, I have the same music administrator as Patrice Rushen. So Patrice and I co-wrote Settle for My Love, along with Freddie Jackson Jr., a bass player. And so he sent a song that he had recorded to our administrator to get our approval and to get it licensed so that he could release it on his first album. It was his first solo album.
Okay.
And so that's the procedure you go to. They'll send it and you listen to it and you say, okay, and then the administrator deals with the paperwork and the splits, et cetera, et cetera.
Okay.
Well, what he did is he sampled part of Settle for My Love with Patrice singing in part of it, and he used a lot of the music. But when I heard it, it was like,
ooh.
I said, well, maybe if I just ignore one.
The first one,
Then
right?
it's a boom, it happened again. Then boom, then another. It's like, I just can't say yes to that. And I know Patrice isn't going to say yes. So we told our administrator. She got in touch with his people. And they got back to her and said, well, what will we have to change? I said, well, you'd have to take that word out. You'd have to take that word out. You'd have to take that out. Take that out. Take that out. Be respectful. And so our administrator said, well, he'd have to change the whole song.
Yeah, sounds like
And
it.
they're not going to do that. Do you know he sent a new version? He changed it. He took all that
Wow,
out.
what an honor and respect to
So that-
his
And I
Speaks
respect
highly.
him for that. It's the
Right.
only song on the whole album that's not explicit.
wow.
But and he tells us he actually himself did an interview, and they were saying how the song almost didn't make it on the album because Patrice objected to the lyrics, and he wanted to be respectful. So he went and he changed it, but he had put it at the bottom of the album. And so Kanye West heard the album and said, man, you need to move that song up.
Wow.
And so he moved it up to the third song on the album. It's called Straight Up.
Straight up, and that's
by
dollar sign.
And I have to say all respect for that young man.
Well, yeah, because recognizing his elders in the industry, and one, he obviously reached out to you guys because he liked what you did, and that's amazing because we think that our kids don't respect us. They have their own music and their own way of expressing themselves, but you have to be respectful of those that came before you.
Yes.
And that's fantastic.
Yes.
Well, we give them big props too.
Yes,
That's pretty
huge
cool.
props. Yes.
That's pretty cool. Well, I'm gonna check my calendar, but I think I'm free. But we tell our stories by Sheree Brown with special guests, her family and friends, and it's a fundraiser for children and families. And you guys want to come out Saturday, September 16th, 2017, 6:30 at the Barnesdale Gallery Theater at 4800 Hollywood Boulevard. Where do they get pre-tickets, or do they get the tickets
You
there?
can go to Eventbrite. It's www.WeTellOurStories, plural, .eventbrite.com, or go to Eventbrite and look for We Tell Our Stories.
Okay. Well, I'm going to put it, in fact, on Tuesday, September 12th, for Recycling Black Dollars, which I'm the co-director of, we're having our breakfast mixer. And if you have any of these flyers with you, I'd love to be able to pass them out at the meeting. And so it's from 8 a.m. to 10 o'clock on Tuesday. It's our second of the networking breakfast mixer of the month at Denny's, at Crenshaw, and Coliseum. Come on out, and we're going to make sure I pass it out to...
I appreciate that so
Yeah, that'd be
much.
really cool, and I'll put it up on my... I think you sent me the Eventbrite. I'll put it
Yes.
up on my Facebook.
I appreciate
We'll
that.
I'll clip the... this is actually being broadcast live at YouTube at morrismedia.com right now.
great.
And so I'll put this information in the information below it, and we'll see if we can get you some people there. You think we can pull together
I
some
think
Bellas?
we can.
Hey.
It's on the Bella website, so we've been
Yes,
pushing it to
thank
the
you.
Bellas.
Yeah.
And we are also going to be giving what's called a Jakanaka Peace Award. Jakanaka, the word, is a big children's book, this big, that I
Really?
co-wrote with, it's like this.
Okay.
Co-wrote with my husband, Douglas Johnson Sr., and a friend of ours that used to be with Disney called P-Shote. His named P-Shote Hunt.
Okay.
He did all the illustrations, so it looks like Disney.
Oh.
It's about a little black girl gets bullied at school, and what happens. There's a story that her favorite teacher, Mr. Jesse, tells. He's got dreads. It's a beautiful book, but it promotes anti-bullying, peace, human understanding, and so we've given out, since 2006, we've given out a few of the Jacques Naka Peace Awards to those who embody what that's about through their works and through the examples. So,
fantastic.
Oprah's gotten one. Sister Helen Prejean, who wrote the book and the movie Dead Man Walking.
Wow.
And there's a couple of politicians. So we're going to be giving out an award that night to someone real special.
Well, I think we're definitely going to be there to support our sister. And you want to give us a few little lyrics? You want to? No.
Do some ba-ba-da-ba-ba-ba.
Well, I with this allergy that I got kicking in. Well, before I do that, I got to say, Alisha, you may not know it, but you are already part of the family. We've already adopted you, just in case you don't know.
The deal has been sealed on air.
Where are you, Kim? I'm with Alisha. Aren't you supposed to be over here? No, I'm kidding.
Wait, but I got to tell you. So for my birthday party, I'm not going to tell you what year, because I'm only 29.
Right,
But
exactly.
one of those birthday parties, she surprised me with the song and sang for the. Oh, it was amazing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I tell you, Alicia, you just travel in the company of some amazing people. I'm glad Don introduced us and that I'm Don's friend through, and your friend through Don.
Yeah. We tell our stories, Miss Crystal, Miss Alisha. She tells us stories. Come on out and hear the stories.
Wow, thank you.
There's some Minnie in there, some Rachel
That's right. When I heard it, I was like, wow.
and a whole bunch of Sheree Brown.
Thank you so much.
So talented. Love this family. I'm going to have to be adopted too. Let's see. But they got 8 kids. They don't mind bringing in some more.
I'm a jealous sister. So.
Oh, okay.
Get behind
I
me.
have to be just a friend.
Come on, girl. Come on.
Well, thank you so much. And that has been the quickest hour in 2 hours. I mean, it goes by real quick like that. But I had some of you guys have been fantastic. Thank you again, Alisha. I'm so always happy and thrilled when you accept my offer to be my co-host.
I love coming.
And I love talking about the Bella Network. And wow, a new friend. And I'm going to be here. I'm going to promote it and bring my sister, my family, and let's see if the Bellas will all come
Bella
out.
section.
I'll be looking.
Yeah. We'll be cheering.
Where are you? Where are you?
And there you
I
have
can do the
it.
faces. You just don't want me to say anything.
So you don't sing, huh? Maybe the talent rubs off once you've been in the family for a little while. They rub shoulders, and then you come out singing as well.
But she does enough for that. Balance is what's happening.
Oh, yeah, she's
she does
amazing.
what I don't do. Okay, it's like
Yeah,
very
she's
impressive.
amazing.
So.
But I am so impressed with your story. I'm very honored that you were here on the Business Zone, and we'll see how we can help get your story out there and get some bottoms in the seats, because that's always very important.
Yes.
Bottoms in the seats, and we want to just honor your family for the talent that you have, and whatever that musical tribe you guys came from. Wow, my hat's off to them.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, guys, we are coming to a close here. It's Friday, September 8th, and we will be back next Friday. There's a lot of things going on. Again, September 16th, you want to get your tickets for We Tell Our Stories, the Recycling Black Dollars Breakfast Mixer on on Tuesday, September 12th at the Denny's on Crenshaw and Coliseum, the Denny's on the Strip, and the Bella Network, November 3rd to the 7th, where you need to get your tickets today and now. And Alicia, how do we get our tickets?
So you can go to www.thebellanetwork.com, or you can check us out on Eventbrite looking up The Bella Network. We also have an event on September 23rd. It'll be in View Park. So if you want to come and join us, so we're launching 4 new businesses, new Bellas having businesses. So
yeah, so you guys want to be around all this talent and see how much of it rubs off on you. And we're going to complete year 2017 with a bang, just being the best people that we can be. And we will see you next Friday. Have a great weekend.
Hello, meet Larry. Larry is a general contractor. Larry is very good at his craft, but Larry has a very tough time managing his paperwork because he is busy taking care of his clients' needs. Larry just cannot find his important business documents when needed. Larry is also being passed over for bid opportunities from prime contractors because he is perceived as not ready. He doesn't know where his business license, certifications, insurance, and other key corporate documents are located most of the time. Lucy owns an auto body and collision repair shop and has been using a business management and procurement assistance program called Small Biz Pro to keep her business organized, business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. Small Biz Pro is a 3-in-1 cloud-based business management, procurement, and market research assistance system designed to help businesses become business ready, contract ready, and bank loan ready. It also provides back-office operation solutions for small businesses. Lucy is able to stay ahead of her competitors because she uses Small Biz Pro to manage her business daily. Lucy just clicks on Small Biz Pro from her tablet, mobile phone, laptop, or any internet-accessible device for data retrieval, and she's got it. Lucy introduces Larry to Small Biz Pro, and now Larry is more organized and can now find all of his documents and new bid opportunities in seconds. Larry now saves $120 in labor costs for each missing or misplaced document. Just simply go to your web browser and log into smallbizpro.net and register today for a limited 30-day free trial offer. Services start as low as $1 per day. Let's put the competition out of business. Small Biz Pro. If you stay ready, you don't need to get ready. Register now at smallbizpro.net and begin saving money. Email info@smallbizpro.net or call 626-533-1186.